around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in the palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us this afternoon for a special edition Chai Chat live from the American Center Tashkent, or ACT as we like to call it, at the U.S. Embassy. I'm Sarah Talalay. I'm the Cultural Affairs Officer here at the Embassy, and I oversee the ACT and our two other American corners in Karshi and Namangan, where you can learn about the United States and American culture. We are so fortunate today to have with us the super talented Pipeline Vocal Project, all the way from the great state of Alaska. We will take your questions both from inside the ACT and online, and we will also get to hear them perform for us. But first, let's start with a few questions. So I was hoping that each of you could introduce yourselves and tell us, how did you get started singing, and when did you realize you might be able to do it as a profession?
Well, my name is Molly. I sing bass for the group.
My name is Lisa. I sing alto and vocal percussion.
I'm Audrey, and I'm the group soprano.
So we've been a group for about 4 years. We each individually have been singing for a long time before that. We each started when we were very small kids. As far as when I thought I could do it for a career, I think it was always a dream, and I didn't know how to get there, and I was always, involved in music. And 4 years ago, we really came into this goal together to make this our jobs and to make it our career. And now we get to be here with you folks.
Yeah, for me, I think, like Molly said, I've been singing for over 20-something years, but I think I realized I really wanted to do this as a profession in a serious sense in college. And then I started working in the acapella industry after that, both in performance and production. And I went back to my hometown in Anchorage and decided I wanted to create a professional group there. And the goal with Pipeline Vocal Project was to always do it as professionals and become full-time eventually, which now we are. And so yeah, I think with Pipeline Vocal Project, that was always the goal at the start.
For me personally, I felt like performing was really all that I was good at. So it's always been my passion. The only thing that I really wanted to set my mind and my time towards. And I always felt as if I wouldn't make it in the industry because we're in Alaska. And in Alaska, we have quite a small music industry. But after meeting Lisa and Molly and getting together, working together and realizing that, we're starting to make a change in our home, that was when I started to realize, like, dang, we got this and we can make it to places where we are right now. So.
Awesome. So you led to one of my questions, which is, how did you all meet each other? I think you and Lisa had the same vocal coach.
Yes.
But how did you found Molly on social media? Tell us how this happened. How did this happen?
Who told you that?
It's in a little home.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I've been working in acapella, across the country and various other places, but I came back to Anchorage and wanted to create a group. So I reached out to Audrey, who I knew of because we had the same voice teacher as kids, but we were never friends. So it was kind of just, again, also on Facebook, being like, hey, don't know if you remember me or know who I am, but would you be down to like have a coffee with me? I want to like explore this idea with you. And then she was on board. And then I had been away from Alaska for so long at that point. That's kind of where, my connections ended. So I kind of put out this like PSA post on Facebook, like, hello, Anchorage, looking for singers with these sort of qualifications. And people just started tagging each other, their friends, and a couple people tagged Molly, and we got together, and that's how we got together. Our first rehearsal was kind of like, hey, nice to meet you all. Let's sing.
It was in a parking lot at our university that Audrey and I attended, and that was kind of our first space meeting and rehearsing.
So did you have like a cast? Did you have to rehearse other people, or was Molly it?
I met with like one or two other girls, but she was the one.
Awesome. So who were your inspirations growing up and also now?
Great question. Go ahead.
Yeah. Growing up, I listened to a lot of divas, as they would call it. So a lot of heavy belters like Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Celine Dion. And I also grew up listening to a lot of Tagalog artists because my parents were really into singing karaoke. So yeah, just a lot of big belters.
Strong women.
Yeah, strong women.
I think I always really liked jazz, even as a kid, as well as pop. I really like the old school pop as well, like Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson era. I really loved that, and that love of pop is still grown to modern artists today.
I always was like a lyrics oriented person. I would always love kind of looking up the words to different songs if I couldn't figure them out myself. My parents were big Beatles fans, and so I listened to a lot of the Beatles growing up, kind of 1960s, 1970s American music, and then that transferred to like punk rock kind of music, and then hip hop and R&B after that. So lots of different kinds, but I think always around the message in the song and what they're singing about. I mean, melody is of course super important, but I was always a lyrics girl.
Wow, you guys span a lot of genres here. Well, with that in mind, would you perform a little for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So this first song we're gonna sing is a Jonas Brothers tune. So the history behind that is when we got together in 2019, it was the same time that the Jonas Brothers had just gotten back together. So it was, I don't know, it's kind of like a parallel. Our teen selves were thrilled, and so this is Sucker by the Jonas Brothers. Ooh, I'm a sucker for you, I'm a sucker. Ooh, I'm a sucker for you, I'm a sucker. Ooh, I'm a sucker for you, I'm a sucker. Ooh, I'm a sucker for you.
We gotta get better, you and me. We take the weather, yeah. I feel the heat in the sample when you're around me. I've been dancing on top of clouds and stumbling at a buzz. I follow you through the dark, can't get enough. You're the medicine and the pain, the tattoo is on my brain. And baby, you know it's obvious. I'm a sucker for you, I'm a sucker for you. Say the word and I go anywhere slightly. I'm a sucker for you, I'm a sucker for you. When you're taking over from me, I'm a sucker for all the subliminal things no one knows about you. And you're making the difference to me, break my difficult. It's true, I'm a sucker. Ooh, I'm a sucker, I'm a sucker, I'm a sucker for you, I'm a sucker, I'm a sucker, I'm a sucker for you. So complicated, slide on you and you know everything about me. I can't remember, yeah, all the nights I don't remember when you're around me. I've been sleeping on top of clouds, stumbling in a buzz. I follow you through the dark, can't get enough. You're the medicine and the pain, the tattoo is on my brain. And baby, you know it's obvious. I'm a sucker for you, I'm a sucker for you. Say the word and I go anywhere beside of you. I'm a sucker for you. And you're stick, you know that a sucker for me. I'm a sucker for all the subliminal things no one knows about you. And you're making the typical me, bring my typical rules. It's true. I'm a sucker for you. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for you. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for you. I'm a sucker for you. I'm a sucker. Ooh, I'm a sucker for you. I'm a sucker. Ooh, I'm a sucker for you. I'm a sucker. Ooh, I'm a sucker for you.
So, how did you come up with the name Pipeline Vocal Project?
So, Alaska is really known for its oil pipeline, the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. I wanted to create a name that was definitely an ode to our home state, but also a name that was limitless in its location, in its genre, in its music, in its outreach. So pipeline was stemmed from that Alaska origin, but also, we say pipes as like our voices is as a slang for vocals. And also I kind of like the idea that what's coming down the pipeline is also kind of like something's always coming next. I kind of like that metaphor. And then vocal project, I didn't want it to limit us to acapella. If we ever decided to, collaborate with other artists or, go in a different direction, I just kind of thought it was like a global, all-inclusive sort of name.
Awesome. And I love the little graphic too.
Thank you.
Very cool. So since you're from Alaska, which is the biggest state in the United States, but one most Americans have never visited. I unfortunately have never visited. If you were convincing us to visit, what would you tell us about Alaska? What do we need to know?
It's beautiful. It's I think everybody feels that somewhat about their home, but nowhere looks like Alaska does. So you've got giant mountains, the ocean. Where we live in Anchorage, we're right next to a lot of giant mountains, and we're right on the ocean. It's very cold in the wintertime. I'm sure you guys know it snows a lot, but in the summertime, the sun never sets. So it's light out all the time. Which is very strange for some people. They're like, what? But it'll never get dark from June to May to August. It'll always be light out. And yeah, I would say my favorite thing about my home is how beautiful it is, and how different it is from everywhere else in America.
Mm-hmm. It has the highest grossing private pizza parlor in the nation.
Good pizza, really good.
Yeah, it's called Moose's Tooth, but people really, really come to try it from all over the world. It's something I would say we're proud of.
Yeah,
the
totally.
Pizza there, yeah.
Awesome.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing about Alaska, but I do like to mention it.
Yeah. We don't live in igloos. We don't ride polar bears. There is wildlife, so you'd be strolling out on a walk and you see moose or bears, roaming around. But other than what these ladies have said, yeah, it's just overall really beautiful, and everything is kind of spread out. So very peaceful place. Definitely not a spot for nightlife or anything. It's just a place where I feel like it would be perfect for clearing your mind and just relaxing, really.
Yeah, lovely. Do we have any questions from the audience?
Don't be shy.
Anything?
Yeah, I have. So, we welcome our country, and then have you ever tried just sing kind of rap music?
Rap music?
Yeah.
Oh, we have some.
We have a little bit of rapping. I don't know if it's rap music, but some rap features in our songs.
Right.
Yeah. We do the rap from Finesse, Bruno Mars, and Cardi B does the rap in it. We do a little bit of that. There are rap and acapella that come together. A friend of ours is doing a program where he does kind of acapella music or acapella beatboxing, which is what Lisa does with vocal percussion, and he's going to be traveling with a rap artist from the US. So it does exist in our genre. Also with 3 people, we are limited on the sounds we can make all at once. So we definitely try to change up our sound a lot. So we don't do too much of one thing. We do lots of different things.
And also with what we do, we call it genre bending. And so sometimes we take a song that is a rap song, but we make it sound completely different, and it sounds a little more wholesome and less hardcore.
Can you give us an example?
Oh. We could do the Finesse one. Sure. This one isn't genre bending per se, but it has a little bit of rap in it. Do you guys want to go from the top or from any particular
Let's
section?
go from the middle.
Okay. If you give me the note, I can go from
So
just the rap.
fellas, grab your ladies.
Sure. Oh. Or do you want to go from the Spanish section?
Okay. One, two, three. Now slow it down for me, baby. 'Cause I love the way it feels when we grind. Yeah, our connection's so magnetic on the floor. Nothing can stop us tonight. When I walk up with you, I watch the whole room change. Baby, that's what you do. My baby don't play. Blame it on my cappella. Oh, blame it on your measurement. Shutting it down on time. That's right.
We out here dripping, finesse. It don't make no sense. Out here dripping,
you know it, you know it.
out here dripping, finesse. It don't make no sense. Out here dripping,
You know it, you know it.
fellas, grab your ladies if your lady's fine. Tell her she the one, she the one for life. Ladies, grab your fellas and let's do this right. If you're on one like me in mine, hey, hey, hey. Drop top push, rolling on my wrist, diamonds up and down my jeans. PPP straight strike can't tell me nothing faster, but then I change the game. Sing with me like, hey, flexing on the ground like, hey. And we hit the little John, okay. And now we dripping in finesse and getting paid.
Do we have any other? We're taking questions from the online audience as well. We're here live from the ACT. Any other questions from the audience?
Could be questions. Oh yeah.
Do you have your own music, or are you going to make your own music?
Yeah, so right now we're doing songs that are well known. We have one album now out, and then we have another one coming later this summer. We're very excited about. But yes, right now we do, as a band, we do covers.
With acapella, it's typically a cover genre because we say acapella genre, but it's actually an instrumentation because acapella in and of itself doesn't create its own music typically. So with acapella, then it's like a novelty thing. So people tend to come see songs that they know performed in a different style, and that's kind of what makes acapella unique.
The way also, like, especially like I said, we're 3 people. So knowing the song, they kind of know what they're going to hear, and it helps them. It kind of tricks them into hearing more than what the sounds we have on stage, and so it kind of helps us fill in the parts that they need to hear in order for it to sound like that song. But then their brains kind of fill in more of it. It's magic. And you had a question over here?
Yeah, you use like technology of teaching, or you song always like with your voice without the technology you're using.
Beatbox.
Beatbox, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, like microphone or like other technology?
Yeah, like changing voice after tune and Like laptop
Auto-tune.
changing
Oh,
words.
auto-tune. We don't use auto-tune. I think there's always some production that goes into album making,
Oh,
but we don't do any sort of production like that for our live stuff. It's all acoustic and coming out of our mouths.
Yeah.
But you might, if you're here for one of our shows later this week, you'll see that a microphone makes a huge difference with beatboxing. Because right now it kind of sounds like in really quiet. But if you hear it in a microphone, it really fills up a room and it, like, you'll feel the bass. So I hope you can come and experience that.
yeah, your voice very good.
Oh, thank you.
Very good. So we have a question from online. Ladies, how about blues music and some parts of musicals? Do you do blues and musicals?
We have a musical theater song that we do. Blues.
One of our in our night, we have a kind of medley song that's got 1950s music in it from the USA with so we've got some Elvis in there. So Elvis Presley did some kind of blues type stuff. I think that's as close as we get for our shows. But we also do musicals. We do some musical music. Musical music. Yeah.
We try to touch on as many as we can. I think the one we just haven't really touched on much is country yet. But we try to touch as many as we can. But yes, musicals as well.
Great. And let's see, one more question. What's the best way to sing
Riffs
and runs smoothly?
Yeah, so riffs and runs are kind of the really quick moving, melodies. I would say for riffs and runs, you really need to have steady support. And the support for singers, without the breath, there would be no sound. So you have two vocal folds, the air comes through, and that's what makes a sound. So if your breath isn't really supported, then it'll be harder for you to do that. So you want to make sure there's a steady stream of air as you're going through those runs.
And lots of practice.
Yeah,
Lots
repetition.
Of practice.
And specifically, something I like to do is like really breaking it down. So if your run's like, then like doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then doing that slowly, and then doing like do 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 do, and then eventually it goes like it just gets like faster and faster. So if you practice it with numbers and then other vowels and just kind of breaking it down, yeah, that's helpful.
You were doing something when you came in. I don't know if that was riffs.
Oh, warming up is important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Acapella band.
Yeah, acapella bands, the Fifth Harmony and Pentatonics. Have you ever met them live and probably did you do a collaboration with them?
We wish.
I've met Pentatonics. I worked with the bass one time, but as a group, we haven't done a collab.
Yeah.
We would love to, though. Hopefully, in the future. Fifth Harmony, I don't believe is an a cappella group, but they are a girl group, which we also relate to.
We would also collab with them. We would make time.
Aren't they also 3 now too, though?
I don't know.
Third harmony.
Third Harmony?
Oh.
Same.
Just to remind everyone, we're coming to you live from the ACT at the U.S. Embassy in Tashkent. We're here with the very talented Pipeline Vocal Project. It's really fun to have you here. I'm wondering if there are any other questions from the audience. Don't be shy.
You're very popular in Alaska, like your group. It's very popular, like famous.
Are we?
Yeah.
Are you recognized at that pizza joint?
Everybody knows that. You say people in the group, everyone. Oh, I know.
Oh.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think the people who really like music, who really are involved in like the local music scene, will know. But if you don't go out to like Audrey was saying, there isn't a huge music industry in Alaska. So if you're not involved with that, you might not know us or really what acapella is. That's okay.
And we've been really lucky and fortunate enough to perform all over the world. So we've done probably we're spending time outside of Alaska. We obviously started there and love it there and love performing there. But I think this year we've performed more outside of the country than we have in Alaska. So we like to travel and do music other places too.
Where else have you been?
Hong Kong. We came from Hong Kong not too long ago.
Dubai, Lithuania.
we did some stuff in Canada, and then we did a mini tour in California. So lots outside of Alaska, and then of course, whenever we can fit things in Alaska, of course, we want to perform there too.
Are there questions for the audience?
Don't you want to teach someone like from here to sing or things like this?
I'm sorry? One more time?
Don't you want to like teach someone from here, like from Tashkent maybe, how to sing?
Yeah, we're doing a master class later this week,
really?
so we're going to be working with some musicians. But yes, we love working and teaching and also learning about music from other places. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you like to sing?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Any other questions from the audience, please?
Hello, nice to meet you. I wonder if you have any songs about Alaska itself.
Ooh, we're working on it. We have a little bit of an Alaska skit that we're putting together right now. We're doing some work on a cruise line this summer that is going up to Alaska. So we're kind of like the local variety act on board, and so we're doing a little Alaska skit that has some Alaska music in it. It's not ready yet, but we're working on it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Other than that, just the Alaska flag song.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, we do have the Alaska flag song.
Yeah.
What's the Alaska flag song?
What a transition.
Start you don't have to do it unless you.
I don't know if I have the key. That's okay. But yeah, it's our state song.
Okay.
Yeah. It talks about our flag or the Big Dipper. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So since you mentioned the cruises, I read on your website that you're a desirable act for schools, colleges, cruises, and corporate events. Can you share some of your most memorable events?
Ooh.
There's a lot.
Yeah. I think you might know what it is. Then go ahead.
Okay. Well, I think one of the most memorable for me, like I said, there's a few, but was the Dubai World Expo. Basically, the World Expo is what they call World's Fair. So they have a bunch of different countries. Each country has their own pavilion, and within this pavilion, it tells about the country, the culture, any big monuments or fabulous things that the country has achieved over time. And we were there representing the U.S. So yeah, we were able to sing on this massive stage. That was probably our biggest stage that we sang on yet, and it was very memorable.
And so then we did that, and then 6 months later, we performed basically on the back of a truck in a very small town in Alaska. So we do it all. On the back of a truck. It was like a truck bed. It was like a bigger truck bed, but it was very rustic, very very small town, and both are good. Both are good.
Yeah.
We do it all.
Other questions from the audience or from nothing else from online? I know you got a request from online.
Oh, we're getting requests.
In the back.
Hi. Once you guys decide on a song and you want to turn it into your own, how long does that take? And do you guys do radically different versions? I mean, you can use all your talents in so many different ways. It must be sort of hard to hone in on a final one. So are there other versions of songs too? And
That's a good question. When we decide on the song that we want to do, I typically try to have like a vision on what direction I want to go. Like, do I want it to do the song just as is? Do I want to bend the genre a little bit? Do I want to bend the decade? And so I'll typically pick one of those routes and then kind of create a little scaffolding for myself on how I want that to look like. And then I do what I like to call horizontal arranging, which is I sing each line into like, say, like GarageBand or something. So instead of writing sheet music, we actually don't use sheet music at all. I just sing the parts into a software and then create learning tracks for us to listen to our own parts and memorize, and then we bring it together in rehearsal. So from how long that process takes kind of really depends on the song, how difficult or complex, and also
the difficulty, complexity will also determine how fast we can get it to performance level, and how much rehearsal it takes.
Does that mean it's usually just one version, or are you reimagining the same song?
Once we pick a song, I think we stick to the one arrangement.
And that's it. That's the one version you guys end up doing.
You go through different like iterations while you're creating it.
That's
though.
true. That's true.
So like I mean, I won't speak to that. You do it.
Oh, no. I mean, even if I arrange a song and it sounds fine on like a learning track, it might not work when we're actually putting it together live. So then we'll make little tweaks and changes to make it best work for our group and our combination. And that's also definitely true. Sometimes we outsource our arrangements. I'll ask friends to do an arrangement for us, and they don't know our voices as well as we do, of course. So then we'll just tweak it a little bit to make it work best for us. And yeah.
More questions from the audience.
I'm curious about the text of a song. So while making a song, do you read the text or poems or do something or research, or where do you get your ideas from?
I mean, I think certain times we pick songs, like songs not for our show that are really popular at the time. We pick songs that are well known that people like to hear. We do a new video, a new like small, like maybe 1 minute or less every single Tuesday on our social media, on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, etc. And so those songs we can do lots of different little things. I think for our show we're more picky about what songs we do, and we pick songs that we want to perform, that people want to hear. We do different shows, like we have a couple different shows that we have, so we'll choose different songs for different shows as well.
We have a question from online. Can you sing any Uzbek songs?
Really? We do have a song called Omonyor.
Is that a request?
First and chorus
Yeah, that's a request.
without the repeat.
You don't want to? Sure. Sure. Okay. Is this all right? No?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Omonyor ela senchi, omonyor pelin bol senchi, omonyor la senchi, omonyor pelin bol senchi, omonyor la kira kosani, omonyor iras lari senchi, omonyor la kira kosani, omonyor iras lari senchi, omonyor toy dai omonyor pelin bol senchi, omonyor toy dai omonyor pelin bol senchi, omonyor.
How was our language? How did we do?
So your website also says that you do jingle writing for commercials, or
Sometimes.
okay?
For the radio, yeah.
Can you give us a sample?
So like a lot of
Do you guys know what jingle writing is? No. Okay, so that would be like for a commercial or some other kind of.
Yeah, we did a couple, but they tend to, like, for example, one of the ones we did was like during COVID, when they wanted us to kind of like be a radio ad or like the face of like COVID safety. And so what I would do in that sense, because they wanted so much information packed in the commercials, that I'll create a vamp like, and it's like, hi.
Hello, we want you to be safe during COVID. Please wear your masks, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did we, third, fifth, seventh, do you share a particular range for each of you? Does one of you sing prima, the other sings third, and the third sings octave pitch or seventh.
They're a
This is way out of my
musician.
way.
They know.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have our kind of like parts that we do typically in our show. So I typically sing bass, that doom, 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 de, doom, that kind of low stuff. Lisa typically does vocal percussion. Sounds like yeah, and then Audrey typically sings lead. So it's not necessarily that like one sings thirds, one sings fifths, one sings sevenths. Those change a lot, and also for the sake of changing it up, and so our show is still interesting and fun and different each time you hear it. But yeah, that's generally how the structure is. But then we trade off. Sometimes Audrey does vocal percussion, and I will sing lead, or Lisa sings lead, and then we would do like a bass and vocal percussion. So we like to change those things up to be, to stay interesting, to keep challenging ourselves, because the more each of us can do, the more we can make our show fun.
Other questions from the audience? Anyone?
Which city or town you from? Like name?
Oh, we're from Anchorage, Alaska.
It's English?
Anchorage, Anchorage. It's much smaller than Tashkent. It's about 10%, like very small, about a tenth of the size of Tashkent.
State is very big, but there's not a lot of households.
We're not on your map.
Yeah, where are we?
I'm sad.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I have to fix that.
49.
Alaska is way up on the side.
So making a living in music is challenging. How do you do it? What's your secret?
Ooh. I would say you have to have a certain sense of fearlessness when it goes to asking for opportunities, and I try to go in with the mindset as like the worst they can say is no, and then there's no setback. But also I think this applies to anything, but I like to work backwards. So like if this is my goal, like say being a professional musician is my goal, what's the step before that? What do I need to have established before that? Then what do I need to have established before that? All the way down to what can I do today? That helps me kind of have immediate action items. And because I think there's so many talented artists out there and they just don't know where to start or what to do. And I think there is no right answer. It's just to get started. And once you get started, the pieces will start to roll into place, and then you'll find the pieces that work for you.
So on top of that, I feel like we just take as many opportunities as we can, because each experience is going to help you be better, and you learn something new every experience you take. So
Even if it's performing on the back of a truck.
exactly.
Right, like we're never too good to perform anywhere. We want to sing for everyone. We want everyone to hear and see what we do. So I think taking as many opportunities as you can really helps, especially when you're getting started.
Just helps us forever be learners. Like,
Mhm.
we want to teach, but there are endless things that you can be learning within this industry.
Do you have advice for young people who are starting out thinking they want to sing or be a musician of some kind?
Practice. First
Yeah.
and foremost.
I think whatever you do, if it's painting, if it's music, if it's poetry, whatever art you want to do and you love it and you want to share it, I think artists don't pick an easy road. It's not like you do A and then you do B and then you do C, right? Like what Lisa was saying. So I think like sticking with it, even when things are hard or people do say no or things don't work out, you gotta keep going because you have this goal to share your art, and that's important, and we need artists now and always. So keep going.
If I could give one piece of advice, I would say find the community. Like, don't do it by yourself, because if you do it by yourself, you're gonna stay in the shower or stay in your room. But if you find your community, find mentors who can really help you, because I for sure would not be where I am today. Pipeline wouldn't exist today if I didn't have the mentors that I did in the community that I went to, go find. Being in Alaska, finding an acapella community, I had to leave the state, but it was really important to me to find the people who were into the same thing, and I learned so much from that.
Do you play any musical instruments? Great question.
I think all of us have some piano background. It's a really useful tool for vocalists. Molly and I play a little bit of guitar. Not proficient, but
Still learning.
yeah.
I'm still learning.
Me too.
And Audrey teaches piano.
Lisa?
Piano, and I dabble in guitar, but like they said, I wouldn't say proficient.
Other questions from the audience or online, please?
Most of singers sing their favorite music 2 times in their concerts. So my question is, do you have a song which you always want to sing again and again and again?
Good question.
I think we all have different favorites. Well, maybe.
My favorite right now is funny. My favorite right now is our Divas song, like our strong woman song, and I don't want to sing it twice because it's really hard. But I love that song because it's challenging and because it's making me a better musician. The more we work on it, the better it feels. So that's my favorite right now.
My favorite, I think, is a newer one for us. It's a Disney song from the Jungle Book called "I Want to Be Like You." And it's my favorite because it has a little bit of everything. So we each solo in it, and we kind of trade off. There's some instrument imitation, and we sing it in 3 different languages in that one song. So it's a variety song, I would say, variety act.
I also love the Divas medley. I grew up listening to the Divas. Could I sing that song over and over? No. It's hard, but it's fun for one time.
Is there a diva in particular whose music you find the most challenging?
Most challenging? Gosh.
Mariah.
Yeah, Mariah, Celine Dion, Aretha Franklin. Like, so you've got those big voices, and then you've got the really technical voices doing like the riffs and runs, like Mariah.
Whitney Houston's always really hard to
yeah.
imitate. It's impossible to imitate, actually.
And she makes it look so easy.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Mariah, not everybody has 8 octaves.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What about the Beyonce?
We do have a Beyonce song.
And it's hard.
Hard song. We have to stay still. We can't do all the choreography that she does, but
We worked on that song, on the Beyonce song, for like a year before we performed it in front of people. And that's one of the ones that's taken the longest because we, I think, weren't ready for it. And we had to work to get there to a point. And it was ended up on our first album.
So which one is it?
It's called End of Time.
Oh.
You know it?
You know it?
Yeah.
So now you know. It's a hard song.
How many language you can sing? I mean, fully.
Speak?
Yeah, no, just kind
Singing.
of sing.
Oh.
Oh, how many have we
In
sung?
our show, we sing English, Spanish, Tagalog, Japanese, Urdu.
And now Uzbek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have sung in 6 languages so far.
The online audience sends a special thanks for Omonior.
Aw, thank
Yes.
you.
And you had a question?
Yeah, I think there's one.
What inspired you to become singers? Was it like a specific singer that you liked, or maybe your parents were somehow related to music?
I could sing before I could talk. Like, my parents have pictures of me probably this big, and I have the mic, and it's my birthday, and my sister, she's my older sister, and she's like, so like I feel like it's always just been there for me. And moving forward within my life, it's been a really great outlet as far as emotional support and expressing emotions. So I've loved it forever.
For me, I was always really drawn to the profession of being a singer, and I was never like a natural singer. I had to work really, really hard to feel like I was good enough to be a singer. So I studied a lot of different kinds. I did opera, I did musical theater, I did pop, just so I could feel like I was proficient or as good as the people who were just been singing naturally. But I think the hard work made me even more passionate to reach my goals. Yeah.
I don't think any of our parents are super musical. So I think similar. It was from a young age. I've always loved singing. I think that early on, again with lyrics, like learning how music can change the world and how it can make such a big difference, definitely spoke to me. I think we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for what we do here, and we're so happy to be here and be, learning and teaching and taking it all in. But I think music for change made me more passionate about it.
Based on the moments when had a conflict in your group, and how did you overcome it?
Good question.
It's a great question.
I think that we move forward imperfectly, right? Like lots of groups, we have a goal that we all want to make the best music we can, which I think has seen us through some of our conflict, because like we all want to make the best thing we can, and we have different opinions on how to do that. But we all love what we do, and we want to make it work. And so I think that's helped us talk things out. And I mean, we're strong, opinionated women, and we feel very strongly about our craft and our passion. So I think that we just keep trying, and I think that makes a big difference.
Other questions from the audience?
Have you met Sarah Palin?
have.
Have you sung for Sarah Palin?
I have, yes.
You did?
Mm-hmm. I was in Juneau, which is the capital of Alaska. Wow, I was like 12. I was young. I went there on a trip with a group I was in. Yeah, I met her.
So when she was governor.
Yes.
She was governor. Yeah.
Okay. And there was another question over here as well.
Another question.
You also have I think you also like you have opinion. No, I don't like that. No, my opinion is much better than you. Vice versa.
Oh, right. Do you have conflict when
Yeah,
you're
conflict, yeah.
going over when you're talking about songs, or is that what you mean?
Yeah. Conflict.
I mean, sure, I think so. But I think, like Molly said, like we all have a level of respect for each other in like as professionals. And so we'll find different ways to work through it, whether it be trying it, be like, okay, I don't know if I agree, but let's try it. Or sometimes you just compromise and you vote and see what works best. And I think each time we've landed on what works best for our group.
Yeah.
Okay, did you have another question?
Who are some of your favorite lyricists?
I love an American artist named Frank Ocean. He's my favorite. I think that I love him because, and his music, I love his music, because he's a very emotional singer, and as a person I'm very words oriented, and so his ability to sing about things I don't really know how to communicate is what I love about what he does.
Still thinking.
Also Kendrick Lamar. I like rap.
This is a tough question for me because I don't, unlike Molly, I'm not a lyrics girl.
Same.
I think I grew up in a bilingual household, so language was a little bit
Fluid. Yeah, it was more difficult for me to like grasp onto. I kept joking like I didn't know songs had lyrics until I was about like 6. I thought they were just mumbling gibberish. In the songs, I didn't know they were words until I was in grade school. So I don't know if like lyrics captured me as much as like the melody did per se. That being said, I love a good Stevie Wonder lyric. Yeah.
But just so everyone's clear, it's, English and Japanese.
Yes.
It's kind of the same for me. I was definitely, I was in a bilingual household as well, so Tagalog and English. So what really captured me were the melodies. But, I mean, who doesn't love Beyonce? And it's relatable, it's catchy, so yeah.
You are making your music, I mean, you're doing it as a profession, but I think you've all had other jobs. I don't know if you're doing other jobs at the moment or if you're doing music full time now.
This is our full-time job, but
Awesome.
you also work
Yeah.
in music. Yes. I prior to this did a lot of administrative work, and so I still do some freelance administrative work for some arts organizations and nonprofits in my hometown. But I think we all, like Audrey used to be a teacher, Molly was a baker up until last month, where we all quit our full-time day jobs to do this full-time. So it's recent that we are full-time.
But that's tremendous. I mean, that you think you can, I mean, that you feel comfortable doing this full time.
Yeah, and I mean, I think growing up, I thought that it was just a switch overnight. And it's not. Like I was a baker and a singer for like in this group only for about 4 years before I could quit being a baker to do this. So it's a lot of overlap to do your passion before your passion can pay for your rent.
Did you have your own place or you baked at a restaurant or where?
Oh, I worked at a bakery in Alaska, a family-owned bakery that I love still very much. I was there for 6 years.
So they're like the top bakery in Anchorage, and
In
she was
Alaska,
head of
yeah.
bread.
Yeah,
I had a bread.
I made yeah, we tried naan yesterday. So good. I loved it.
Yes. Good. How about old school singers and musicians who, from people who already gone, you regret you could not sing with, and whose song do you want to make a tribute to?
There's so many.
I love Michael Jackson's music.
Yeah, that would be a nice tribute.
Michael Jackson, I think Whitney Houston also, like, her voice is one of the best the United States has ever had.
The best we've ever seen.
Yeah, so I think that would be a person I wish I had the chance to sing with.
Aretha? You mentioned Aretha.
I love Aretha Franklin too. I met her or I didn't meet her. I saw her perform in Chicago when I was like a teenager, but didn't get to sing with her.
Yeah.
Other questions?
From my point of view, not all the songs created with the same way. Some kind of songs created with interesting and extraordinary ways. So do you have a song like that?
Interesting. Extraordinary.
I guess like ways we pick songs, or songs we do.
Your own song.
Like our
Songs that we've
arrangements.
already done.
With some kind of interesting, someone
Yeah.
or something inspires you to create a song.
Well, one of our songs, the Beyonce one we did, kind of had a funny story behind it. We were very new as a group, and we asked our audience to pick a song for us, and they picked that one, and we're like, really? Because it was hard, but that was kind of a funny one. Way we got to that one. Yeah. I think we like bilingual songs as well because I think it shows talents that we have that you wouldn't see otherwise, and kind of also is not so much for me. I speak just English, unfortunately, but it's a way to express culture for you two that I think I really love that we get to do.
Do you miss your old job? Like you said, you was bakery and someone was teacher.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely miss it. I think that the one-on-one interactions, and I was a music teacher, and there were ages, you know, from really, really small to really old. So being able to connect with people and help them excel in what they're passionate about definitely not only helps me feel good about, you know, helping them, but it teaches me and kind of reinforces things for myself as well. Yeah, so I miss it a lot.
I loved working with my hands. I loved like the baking and the culinary was also a passion for me. This is rarer. This is more rare for me to be able to do. And the company I left, I love them. They love me. So I think if I chose to go back to that, it will be there.
Head of bread is
Head
waiting.
of bread.
Head of bread.
I do okay.
I think we have one more question.
Who's the leader in your group? I mean, kinda, you know, the leader.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah, I founded the group and I had a specific vision for it. And I've been very lucky to have two very strong, talented ladies to do it with me and to like ride this wave and vision with me. So I feel very lucky.
I know you only just got here, but do you have any impressions so far of Uzbekistan? I know you mentioned you tried the naan,
We tried naan. We tried plov. Super good.
It's good. It's very pretty. It's very
Yeah.
pretty. Like we went to, what was it called?
Hastimam.
Hastimam. It was beautiful, beautiful, and we got to see like a lot of like local, you know, art and like wood crafting. We haven't seen a lot yet, but it has been beautiful what we've seen so far.
And everyone's been very nice, very nice to us.
Any other questions before we wrap up?
Can you do another masterpiece of your song?
What's that?
Another song.
Another song?
Oh,
Another
okay.
masterpiece.
Well, thank you for that. You set this up nicely. I think with that we'll wind up, and if you want to take us out, you can do more than one. It's totally up to you guys.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So, like we said before, what we like to do is try and sing in as many languages as we can. So I thought we would try and put this one together with 3 languages. Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, I'm the king of the swingers, oh, the jungle VIP. I reached the top, had to stop. That's what's bothering me. I wanna be a man, make up, and stroll right into town and be just like the other men. I'm tired of monkeying around. Oh, a bit too. I wanna be like you. Wanna walk like you, talk like you too. You'll see it's true. An ape like me can learn to be human too. Vamos, español. Yo soy el rey de Acapella, el más monure del swing. Más alto ya no he de subir, mi estoy hace sufrir. Yo quiero ser hombre como tú, en la ciudad gozar. Como hombre yo quiero vivir, cierto amor no me va a aburrir. Tú, quiero ser como tú, quiero andar como tú, tal como tú, por tu salud. Dímelo a mí, si el fuego aquí me lo traerías tú. Let's go to Japan. Aruke badale moga, uli kaeru. Hanase badale moga, tanoshiku naru. 思い描いてた理想の自分それが君だったの悔しいけど Oh, me too 人間になる君のように歩きしゃべるわかるだろうたとえせるでも真似して君になる
Okay, I need you to repeat after me. You ready? Ba ba ba. Ba ba ba. Ba da da. Ba da da da. Right with them down. Dweety beep bow. Dweet da da da. Ah, come on. Ooh, baby, too. I wanna be like you. I wanna walk like you, talk like you do. I see it's true. You like well like me. Tell us to be like someone like you do. Do that, get it, oh, like almost do. Yeah, I need you, getting me. I look one more time. Tell us to be like someone like you. Learn to be like someone like you.
That was amazing. Again, thank you to the audience at the ACT and also online. Please continue to follow us on social media for our other events. And again, thank you for being here today. And thank you to Pipeline Vocal Project.
Bye.